Hi, my name is Cece, and this is Everything Crypto.
It's internet money.
Thousand-fold increase.
Governed by the laws of mathematics.
A huge wealth transfer.
It's one of the most important inventions in the entire history of humankind.
It is somewhat ironic that the crypto community, which is all about decentralization, must rely so heavily on centralized exchanges to buy and sell cryptos. Centralized exchanges with whom there is arguably even less power in the hands of the individual than when dealing with traditional banks, and possibly less recourse too, such as in the case of a major hack. Together we'll try out 3 of 4 different ways to buy and trade altcoins, looking at what each involves and how the different experiences compare. First, buying altcoins directly. We'll use a crypto ATM. Next, using services like Shapeshift and Changelly. And finally, using an account-based centralized exchange. A fourth way is to use a decentralized exchange, but we'll save that for another video. We'll see that most of these services have room for improvement. Each offers different advantages and disadvantages, which may make each solution more or less appropriate for different occasions. We'll also think about which approach might be most likely to minimize the panic and anxiety that can ensue when working with larger sums of money. The first way is to buy the altcoins directly with your government-issued fiat currency, which you can do through exchanges like Coinbase, Gemini, or from some Bitcoin ATMs. But currently, the selection is usually limited to Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, sometimes even fewer. Together, we'll try the ATM option and set up a Jaxx wallet to receive the funds. There are many other options out there, but I like Jaxx because, like the Exodus wallet that we'll be using later on, it has integrated the Shapeshift exchange service, and we'll be trying out Shapeshift in a minute as a second way to buy altcoins. Once installed and initialized, we'll be setting it up to receive Litecoin. You'll want to back up your wallet by writing down the 12-word phrase. These words are a random sample from a list of 2,048 simple words that each represent a number from 0 to 2,047. Using words is an easier and less error-prone way to copy down and remember what is essentially a string of 12 random numbers that are used to generate your private keys. Once backed up, we are ready to buy and send over the Litecoin. ATMs like this simply involve choosing the coin, usually from a very limited selection, inserting your cash, we'll put in $120, and then displaying to the machine's reader the QR code for your wallet to receive address. And just like that, albeit still unconfirmed and after a fee, here it was a painful 8%, your money arrives in your wallet. We put in $120 and received a bit over $110 worth of Litecoin in our wallet. So if you can handle the fees and don't mind the very limited selection, this is a solid, anonymous, and very simple way to buy altcoins. The second way to get your hands on altcoins, which also might be the easiest way to make crypto-to-crypto trades, and it provides many more altcoin options than Coinbase or most crypto ATMs, is by making use of the kind of decentralized exchanges, one called Shapeshift and another called Changelly. Both require that you set up your own wallets beforehand, but, at least in the case of Shapeshift, you don't need to create an account with the service. Shapeshift is used most conveniently through wallets like Jaxx and Exodus. So let's begin that way, trying out and comparing the Shapeshift integrations in the Jaxx and Exodus wallets. You can get Exodus for your computer by browsing to exodus.io and downloading the native app. Jaxx has both a mobile app and a Chrome extension. Once Chrome is installed, we can download the Jaxx Wallet Chrome extension to use Jaxx from our Chrome browser. Since we already set up a Jaxx wallet on our phone, we can pair the new one using our recovery phrase. In the Exodus wallet, we will go over to Settings and enable the Litecoin option. In order to exchange altcoins side by side, we'll send half our money from the Jaxx wallet to the Exodus wallet. That entails grabbing our Litecoin receive address on Exodus and pasting it into Jaxx. We'll choose to send over exactly half of our Litecoin, confirm the details, and just like that, the transaction is sent, and it shows up in Exodus. Now that we have some money in Exodus, Exodus is moaning about making a backup. To do that, we need to create a password and write down our recovery phrase. Jaxx also has an option for a PIN as an extra layer of security, but it is turned off by default. Unlike Jaxx, Exodus also sends a backup link via email. With both wallets backed up and holding a bit of Litecoin, let's try trading our Litecoin for Bitcoin Cash. In Exodus, that involves clicking on Exchange and opting to exchange all of our Litecoin for Bitcoin Cash. In our Jaxx wallet, we click on the Shapeshift icon and make the same selections. Interestingly, Exodus takes a slightly larger cut for fees, presumably for mining, converting a max of 0.2305 Litecoin, or $55 and change, whereas Jax will convert 0.2316 Litecoin, which is over $57. You can adjust mining fees in Jax, but these are the default settings. Currently, Exodus does not have adjustable fees. Once ready, all it takes is 2 clicks. And it tells us Shapeshift was successful. And over in Exodus, we click the exchange button. We can confirm in our Litecoin wallet that the exchange was sent, and a minute later, 0.0227 BCH shows up in our Exodus Bitcoin Cash wallet, and just a tad more shows up in Jax. Although Jax gave us a little more money, it tells us we have no transaction history. Perhaps a refresh would take care of that. Overall, Shapeshift offers a really nice and convenient way to trade, especially with these wallet integrations. Shapeshift is not the only semi-instant exchange service with which you can grab a bunch of altcoins. Another is Changelly. Let's try comparing Changelly with Shapeshift. When you browse over to Changelly's website, they do this trick where they pretend you can make an exchange right there, but then they force you to create an account. Fortunately, this only involves entering your email address. Here, it shows us the exchange rates. Let's put in the exact value of BCH that we will be sending. Let's also open up Shapeshift in a browser to compare. Shapeshift has 2 options, a quick option that allows you to send a random amount between some very low minimum and a moderately high maximum. Let's instead choose the precise option, which is a little more work, but will better allow us to compare the exchange rates. It looks like Changelly is offering us slightly more Ether for our BCH than is Shapeshift. The difference, however, is that Shapeshift's precise option guarantees this rate, whereas Changelly's rate is free to fluctuate during the transaction and may end up being quite different. Another thing to notice is that they offer a slightly different collection of coins, so when deciding which service to use, if only one of the services offers you the coin you're after, that alone would be the deciding factor. Usually, the rates do fluctuate, and only a minute later, we now see Shapeshift offering a slightly better rate. Let's go ahead and make the trade and see what the experience is like. We grab our Ethereum address from Exodus, check over the details, press confirm, and it tells us the server is unavailable. We wait a minute as suggested and try again. This time, it does go through and gives us an address to which we should send our Bitcoin Cash. We copy the address, hop over to Exodus, and send it along after quickly confirming the send amount. We can open another window and check on our Changelly account history, and we see an entry for the current transaction. It tells us it is waiting for the payment, which we can see, using a blockchain explorer, is still unconfirmed. Unfortunately, Changelly gives no indication that we've made a payment that is as of yet unconfirmed. We can shift some windows around to see where the confirmation shows up first. 4 minutes after sending, we see the first confirmation on the blockchain explorer. Still, Changelly tells us it's waiting. 2 minutes later, we have 3 confirmations. The indication 3 out of 6 seems to suggest that Changelly is waiting for 6 confirmations. So at least now we know what we're waiting for. It's worth noting, however, that at these values, Shapeshift only waits for 1 confirmation before proceeding. 40 minutes after sending Bitcoin Cash, we have 4 confirmations. This wait is a combination of the slow confirmation of the Bitcoin Cash network and the fact that Changelly waits for 6 confirmations. While 6 confirmations is something of a standard, when compared with Shapeshift and the larger account-based exchanges, this is a very long time to wait for a trade, especially while the exchange rate can fluctuate in the background. At 52 minutes, we have the 5th confirmation, and at 53 minutes, we get the 6th. Now it's all up to Changelly to send us the Ether. Our Exodus wallet should show us the transaction even before any confirmations are made. Just a minute later, Changelly tells us the exchange is done and that our Ether is being sent. We click over to our Exodus wallet, but nothing has arrived yet. 2 minutes later, we see that it says the transaction is waiting for confirmation on the blockchain. Still, we expect it to show up in Exodus, and yet it hasn't. Also, when we click on details, we see that it has a transaction hash for the BCH we sent over, but there isn't one for the Ethereum transaction. It's another 12 minutes later, and a full 67 minutes after initiating the trade. We can browse to etherscan.io to see whether any transactions to our address really have been broadcast to the network. As expected, none have been. Unfortunately, and despite Changelly telling us that the transaction is waiting for confirmation, no such transaction has been sent, and for all we know, the exchange may not even have taken place. all while the exchange rate continues to move in an unfavorable direction. It's now another 20 minutes later, and I'm wondering if there is something I'm not considering. Maybe the holdup has something to do with the Ethereum network and nothing at all to do with Changelly. To test this hypothesis, let's simultaneously open up our Jax wallet, which still has some BCH, and make a Shapeshift trade from BCH to Ether. We initiate our Ethereum wallet, and we wait. About 40 minutes later, Changelly still does not seem to have sent the Ether, but our Bitcoin Cash transaction to Shapeshift has received 4 confirmations. We open up the Jax wallet, and lo and behold, we have Ether. Checking with Etherscan shows that Shapeshift sent us this Ether 15 minutes earlier. All the while, Changelly still says the transaction is being confirmed, but still doesn't seem to have made a transaction at all. Let's not wait any longer for Changelly, and instead move on to the third way to buy or trade altcoins. The third way is to use the large account-based centralized exchanges. It is probably the most common way, especially for those who fancy themselves as day traders, because once your money is deposited and available, which can take some time, it then becomes the quickest way to make trades. It also provides the most altcoin options, but it is most similar to dealing with a bank. These services require that you turn your assets over to them, depositing into an account from which you make trades, each of which occur in the exchange's own database, rather than directly on any of the blockchains. If these services are hacked, or if they vanish overnight, so too will your funds. In addition to the risk of handing over your assets, another disadvantage of using these centralized exchanges is that they usually have limited pairings, where you have to buy altcoins using Bitcoin, Ether, or Litecoin. So, for example, if you want to trade Vertcoin for Zcash, you might have to first sell your Vertcoin for Bitcoin and then use that Bitcoin to buy the Zcash. With first in, first out accounting, this would adjust the cost basis of your Bitcoin holdings and could prevent you from ever reaching a reduced long-term tax status with that Bitcoin. Shapeshift, on the other hand, would allow a direct swap, so that's something to keep in mind. At the moment, the biggest exchange of this type is Binance. I was going to compare Binance with the largest American exchange, Bittrex, but Bittrex is temporarily closed to new users, so we'll just focus on Binance for now. Binance asks for an email address, a password, wants to know you're human, that your email is really yours, and then lets you log in. Checking our history shows we have none. So let's go ahead and make a deposit. This screen shows that they occasionally suspend deposits and withdrawals of some coins. That's no fun. Let's go ahead and deposit our newly acquired Ether. We get a deposit address, we open up Jax, we paste the address, choose to send all we have, we like to live dangerously, and swoosh, it's gone. 4 minutes later, clicking on history shows that Binance has agreed that a deposit exists, and that it has 5 confirmations. Checking on the blockchain shows that the transaction now has 6 confirmations, so we're making progress. While we wait, let's see how Changelly is doing. Still nothing in Exodus. Still no transactions on the network, and Changelly still says they're sending it. Meanwhile, refreshing Binance shows we still have no funds. Another 30 minutes later, and Binance is showing over 100 confirmations, and yet our deposit is still pending. On the deposit page, they're kind enough to tell us that coins will be deposited immediately after 30 confirmations. We have over 100 confirmations already. But it's cool. We might have just deposited our life savings and have no idea if we'll ever see it again. We might start to wonder, what is this Binance thing? Who are these people? What have I done? Another half an hour later, and a full hour after making our deposit, the money shows up. Since all is well here, let's go ahead and trade our Ether for Bitcoin. We'll accept the market price and choose to trade all of our Ether. We can also see all the recent trades, the many trading pairs we can use, and on the left, the offers and the bids. They also tell us there is a fee of 0.1%, and we have options for limit trades, market trades, and stop limit trades, but we'll just use the market price as our limit. We can also look at the charts to gather some last-minute information, or just go ahead and make the trade. Looking at our funds show we now have some Bitcoin. When we try to send it back to our Jax wallet, we are told to set up a second layer of security. We'll do that and try again. We only need to go over to Jax, copy our Bitcoin address, paste it in at Binance, see that they'll be charging us nearly a third of our money just to send it to us, realizing our powerlessness, we hit submit and punch in our code. Notice we also have this bit of Ether here, but the fee to withdraw it is larger than the quantity we have, so they get to keep that too. And whatever happened with Changelly? Another 90 minutes later, an hour and a half after midnight, and 5 hours after we initiated the trade, the Ether from Changelly arrives in the Exodus wallet. Changelly still says it's sending, presumably now truly waiting for confirmation on the blockchain, but we won't bother waiting for that. So together we tried a few ways of buying and trading altcoins. I'd have to say that using a wallet with Shapeshift integration seems to me to be the most convenient and worry-free method for occasional trades. Of course, which method you choose in any given instance will depend on your needs, and in the end, you'll probably wind up using some combination. In another video, we look at decentralized exchanges, which, though they hold the most promise and are best aligned with the principles of the community, have their own limitations and are not yet, in my opinion, quite ready for primetime use. But I think it is a good idea to support them as much as is possible. Ultimately, the holy grail for trading might be the cross-chain atomic swaps with hashed time-locked contracts. Perhaps we'll also talk about that in a future video.
At least now you may be able to panic a little less, knowing that while not great at all, issues like these happen a lot, to all of us, and with all the different services. It's just the nature of the beast. If I've been at all helpful or informative, please give this video a like and consider subscribing so you can catch the next one. Thanks for watching!